He was robbed, stabbed, and poisoned, but tonight an area priest's startling confession.
Was he his own worst enemy? Find out why he stabbed himself over 80 times.
Plus, trouble in the air. Find out how this heat wave could mean problems for Hopkins.
And a shootout on the streets of Cleveland puts children into the line of fire. Tonight, the very latest.
Fox 8 News at 10 starts now. Tonight, a priest's confession of a suicide attempt has his parish in a state of shock.
The 88 stab wounds on Father Thomas Spisak came from Spisak himself. Reporter Jack Shea is live in Warren, where Fox 8 News first broke the story this morning. Jack?
And I said, whoever did it, they should be punished. And then I turned around and said, oh, he did it himself. And they said black teenagers did it. Now, how would you feel? Angry.
That's how many African Americans in Warren are reacting to news that Father Thomas Spisak fabricated a story in which he claimed two black teenagers broke into the rectory at Christ Our King Church, stabbed him repeatedly, and forced him to drink poison. Police say it was all a hoax to cover up the priest's attempted suicide.
It hurts the African American people, you know, especially the young boys that's walking around, you know, in the corners talking and walking through the path. It scared them. Few of them said they would never walk through here again because they're afraid they might get identified saying that they're doing something wrong.
I was attacked by two men at night and I'm in pretty bad shape.
That was the call Father Thomas Spisak made the morning he claimed he was attacked by intruders. But police say from his hospital bed, Spisak has now admitted he stabbed and cut himself 88 times with a kitchen knife like this one. The priest has expressed regret that he fingered African-American teens for the sins he committed.
I would ask the black community to take into consideration that the Father's service to the community and helping the black community and being a servant to the people in this community be taken into consideration and recognize the fact that he had a lapse in his mental state.
Father Spizak's superiors in the Catholic Church say the priest had been experiencing post-traumatic stress from heart surgery he had 3 months ago and was depressed about his mounting medical bills.
I think Father's experiencing deep regret, even to the point of being ashamed of the situation. I think part of our concern is helping Father through the health and healing that he needs.
Despite anger over the priest bearing false witness and allowing blame to be cast against African Americans in the neighborhood around the church, there is compassion for the 55-year-old pastor.
It's really admirable that he's sticking with his faith by confessing to his sin, okay, and the wrong that he did. And that's part of our Judeo, Christian ethic, to say that, we're sorry and to repent.
And from Father Spizak's parishioners who had rallied in his support, there are already signs of forgiveness.
People have to realize that priests and all people of the cloth are people the same as we are, and they have the same stresses. And sometimes they bend under the stress, and evidently that's what happened with this particular priest.
Tonight, Father Spisak is in stable condition at a hospital in Youngstown, still recovering from the unsuccessful attempt to take his own life. Now, there is the possibility that he could be charged with a crime, possibly inducing panic or filing a false report. Right now, the police chief of Warren says because of the priest's psychiatric condition, they're going to hold off on any decision to file charges.
Okay, thank you very much, Jack Shea, reporting from Warren.
Okay.
Well, the very unusual story of Father Thomas Spisak began back on June 14th. That's when he made a 911 call to police saying he'd been stabbed. He remained in the hospital, unable to speak and hooked up to a ventilator. On Sunday, the 20th, Bishop Thomas Tobin said Mass in Spizak's place, asking for parishioners to pray for his attackers. It was yesterday, Monday, the 22nd, the priest admitted the wounds were self-inflicted. Once again, he is in stable condition and improving at this hour.
A warm summer day, and suddenly families are running for cover after a man starts shooting up a residential street. Fox 8 News reporter Christy Steves was on the scene just moments after the bullets started flying.
It's a hot summer day. Kids are outside playing, some on porches, others in their yards. All of a sudden, there's gunfire.
Then next thing you know, he pulled the tile off and started shooting. Pow, pow. They started running everywhere.
A carload of women were driving by on East 103rd Street in Cleveland and just missed the hail of bullets. Gun casings litter the street as people run for cover.
My kids was in the back. We just got past when he started shooting. And it scared me to death,
Witnesses say there was an argument between a man with a German Shepherd and another man who had a towel draped over his shoulder. Neighbors say the owner of the German Shepherd went up and down these streets asking people if they'd stolen something from his car. They say he spent about 2 hours in this neighborhood asking people about the theft. Then he unknowingly confronted a man with a gun. Apparently the dog owner threatened him with his dog. The other man pulled out a weapon from underneath the towel and opened fire.
He had the gun like this under the towel, and he pulled the gun out and started shooting.
Two men were shot. In a panic, Lynette Oliver came running down the street because her kids were playing on their porch, right in the line of fire.
He was very inconsiderate of what he was doing. He should have thought, well, what if one of them bullets hit one of this lady's kids?
The German Shepherd was also shot. The city dog warden took it away. Neighbors are upset.
You have to live next door to someone. You're going to have to get along. You're going to have to get along somehow.
I wish these people would just get together and realize we have to live together. There ain't no need out here acting no fool. You know, we all in the same area. We bleed the same blood.
Christy Steves, Fox 8 News in Cleveland.
Now, one victim was shot in the arm. He was treated and released. The other victim shot in the back. He's in stable condition tonight. It looks like the dog is going to be okay. Its shoulder was grazed by a bullet. The gunman took off running after the shooting and hasn't been seen since.
A lot of talk, but not much action today as negotiations in the General Motors strike continued in Michigan. By some estimates, the strike and resulting shutdowns have cost GM $1 billion in profits. Most dealers have enough vehicles in stock, but they're running low on genuine GM parts needed for maintenance and repairs. What happens when the supply runs out?
We have to catch as catch can and buy from any available supplier. So if we can't get them from Delco, we might go to a Fram for an oil filter or Mobile or something like that just to keep up with the customer demand.
One UAW leader says the strike could stretch into mid-August if no agreement is reached this week.
Northeast Ohio is trying to beat the heat tonight. Daytime temperatures near 90 degrees have brought out the crowds at Edgewater Beach. Lake Erie's providing cool relief on what's only the very first week of summer. Northeast Ohio has not had a good soaking rain for 10 days now. Well, Dick Goddard is in the Fox 8 Weather Center with the early word on what Floridians call a cool down and we call a heat wave.
Well, you call it a heat wave. The highest we've been this year is 88 degrees. We had 83 today, which we figured to have, and I will be around 88 tomorrow. And I think by Thursday and Friday, I think legitimately we'll call it almost heat wave conditions, at least for northern Ohio. It's all relative. We had some thundery weather in Ashtabula County much earlier this afternoon. There we see a bright red echo in Pennsylvania. That isn't, pardon me, doing us any good. And the current radar shows not much going on nearby. You've got to go way out into the state of Iowa. Here is what is on our menu. We've had this weak front come in today. We did have a couple of showers in the area, but dry was the rule. But look at that, 98 at Memphis, 98 at Dallas. I don't think we're going to see that. 96 today in Tampa. And what terrible problems they have down there. Now, that is a true heat wave, but we'll get the Ohio version in about 24 to 36 hours. I'll have more later.
All right, thank you, Dick. If you've driven by the new stadium site recently, then you know it's finally beginning to take shape. A couple of weeks ago, workers had a minor setback, though, when a huge support beam was dropped. Well, now steps are being taken to repair the 36-ton piece of steel, but the project executive says there's no need to worry about the beam, and once it's fixed, it'll be better than ever.
We've been in business for a long time, have built almost 60 of these type facilities, and we certainly don't want it on our record or conscience, and I'm sure many people feel the exact same way.
Overall, workers tell us that project is right on schedule for its completion date in July of 1999. Still ahead, planning on taking a trip? How do the words air traffic failure grab you? Details on trouble at Hopkins Airport. Plus, an ice cream shortage, a bitter butter battle that could have you dishing out more money for your favorite treat. And an herbal diet aid turns dangerous for one woman. Coming up, how her horror story could happen to you. Stay tuned.
You're watching Fox 8 News at 10 with Tim Taylor, Wilma Smith, Dick Goddard with weather, and John Tellich with sports.
Could you imagine? Twice in the past week, planes at Hopkins Airport were not allowed to take off or land. Air traffic controllers were left blind, unable to track those airplanes.
And as Fox 8 News reporter Lydia Esparra explains tonight, air traffic controllers are worried they'll lose the system again.
The air conditioning keeps the temperature at the proper level to where the equipment runs. If the temperature goes up, the equipment fails.
And that's exactly what happened here at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
The maps give you the reference between airplanes and also between where the airport is and the airplanes. And without the maps, you cannot control air traffic.
An overheated air conditioner caused crucial air traffic control computers to shut down. It happened not once, but twice within a week.
Air traffic controllers are the brains for the entire air traffic system. So when they shut down, the entire airport shuts down.
Northwest 186 contact.
The FAA knows about the problem. Here is what they have to say. We're looking at what our options are to get us through the summer until we can have the unit replaced. The 23-year-old system will cost $540,000 to replace. This worries travelers.
It really is something that should be taken care of for safety reasons.
Yeah, it worries me. I fly quite a bit, and I like to think that somebody is keeping track of my airplane.
Air traffic controllers say it can happen again.
It left them defenseless up there. Yes, I am very concerned about that.
The city of Cleveland leases the airport buildings to the FAA. Both groups are trying to resolve the issue. A new system will be installed in the spring, not soon enough for air traffic controllers.
My position is that needs to be done yesterday, not next year, not during the winter. We need it now. It's hot now. We need to have that system replaced.
Lydia Esparra, Fox 8 News, Cleveland.
Last Wednesday, flights were delayed for 45 minutes, but so far there have been no near misses at the airport. When the Hopkins Tower malfunctions, flights are tracked by the Traffic Control Center in Oberlin, which is responsible for aircraft flying over much of the Midwest. But the control tower's air conditioning isn't the only problem at Hopkins. The building's roof also is in need of repair. By the way, the city of Cleveland leases that building for $13,000 a month.
An airline with a hub in Columbus and daily flights to Hopkins Airport is now on the FAA's watch list. Mechanics and flight attendants with America West have made several calls to the FAA's safety hotline. An airline spokeswoman blames labor trouble for the complaints. She says despite extra inspections, the FAA has found no significant problems with America West aircraft or its procedures.
Right now, thousands of Florida residents are being evacuated. Straight ahead tonight, the Sunshine State is on fire. We've got the latest as the flames grow by the hour.
It's filled with water, but it went up in a blaze. Firefighters battle an aquarium on fire.
And later, it looks unusual, but some say it's the cure for cancer. Stay with us.
Fox 8 News is brought to you in part by everything you want, we've got it at your local Chevy Network dealer now.
Well, another day, another outbreak of new fires in Florida. Soaring temperatures and dry conditions are making a bad situation worse. Lightning strikes are blamed for most of the blazes, about 80 new ones every day that together have charred 100 million acres since Memorial Day. Firefighters are battling exhaustion as well as the flames.
All we can do is get ahead of it, slow it down until we can get a dozer in there and make every attempt at cutting it off, and then we can start working from the outside in.
Of course, what would really help is a steady rain, but forecasters are predicting another week of highs over 100 and no clouds, just smoke in the sky. Now from wildfires to an aquarium on fire.
Incredible pictures from these stories and more in tonight's Fox 8 Newsreel. Near Austin, Texas, wildfires are raging across the Lone Star State. Firefighters are doing their very best to contain the flames, but tender, dry conditions are creating abundant fuel. Helicopters are carrying water to fires in remote regions, and airplanes are keeping watch for any new blazes.
Downtown Dallas, fire crews rush to the Dallas World Aquarium when a passing taxi driver spots flames. An electrical blaze broke out inside the home to hundreds of exotic birds. They flew out of harm's way. Fortunately, no one had to move the reptiles. like this endangered crocodile.
Baltimore, Maryland, a semi slams into the back of a commuter bus. More than half of the 31 passengers are hurt. Investigators say the truck had faulty brakes, brake lights, and steering. The driver faces hefty fines and will have his license suspended for 6 months.
Stoughton, Massachusetts, a state trooper stops his speeder and reaches in to turn off the ignition. That's when the driver takes off, dragging the trooper alongside. He managed to get loose and chase down the driver, who had cash, pot, and a massive marijuana cigar inside that car.
The drug problem is everywhere. It is a plague on all of our houses.
Philadelphia, federal prosecutors accuse members of the Pagans Motorcycle Club of distributing cocaine. Their alleged cohorts in crime, members of Pennsylvania's Amish community. Agents say it's proof no part of our nation's culture is immune from drug abuse.
Well, she bought it over the counter and thought it was a harmless diet aid. Coming up, what she took sent her on a wild ride. Details on the secret ingredient most people don't know about.
And the verdict is in on those cold-curing zinc lozenges. Find out who they don't help. Stay with us.
What has 1 billion legs and can shred you to pieces in minutes? Still can't put your finger on it?
We just can't stop them.
Legion of Fire, Killer Ants. Small bite, big appetite. Wednesday at 8, 7 Central.
Need to kickstart your morning? Then grab your Java and join Bill, Stephanie, John, and Andre on Cleveland's #1 rated morning show, Fox 8 News in the Morning.
You know, many health insurance companies are refusing to cover Viagra because of the potential cost and because sex is not a medical necessity. Well, now one insurer has come up with a compromise. Aetna Healthcare will sell employers special Viagra coverage. The employer would decide how many pills they want to pay for. That plan is similar to add-on coverage for birth control pills.
Well, it's supposed to be a diet aid, but for one woman, taking an over-the-counter herbal medicine sent her on a wild ride.
That's right. Her experience was scary, but what she found afterwards was horrifying. Fox News reporter Tricia Taskey has details.
How could this be on the market? You know, this is like an herbal drug.
Kaylin Starnes took Metabolift as a diet aid. A friend told her it would help suppress her appetite and boost her metabolism. So she tried it, but found it did much more.
It made my heart palpitate, and I started to get up. I got dizzy, so I laid down for a couple of hours so it would wear off.
When it did, Kaylin went to her herbal encyclopedia to find out exactly what she took, which was even more startling. Metabolift has 2 somewhat controversial herbs in it, mawang and guarana. The herbal encyclopedia says guarana has the same chemical compound as caffeine, theine, and cocaine, and can produce the same physiological action.
Would you call this a safe product? And the amounts in it, I mean, we looked over the label a little bit. Would you call it a safe product?
No, I really don't. I don't like those kind of products.
Pharmacist Roland McPhee says Metabolift doesn't have cocaine in it, but the herb in it is a stimulant and can be dangerous. And now Kaylin agrees.
I've had too much coffee before, and that wasn't it. My legs tingled, the back of my head tingled, I was sweaty. I couldn't concentrate.
Pharmacists say that's a natural reaction to products with these herbs in them. Many times people take too much, and sometimes even the recommended dosage on the label is too high for some people. In fact, there are even warnings on the internet from the company that makes these products, saying you only need 1/3 of the recommended dosage per day. And pharmacists agree. They say every label needs to be read carefully.
Some of these labels are tricky to read. They mention milligrams and percentages and extracts, and it's very hard to correlate how those terms, what they actually mean.
McPhee says if you don't know, ask, because everyone reacts differently to certain products. Tricia Taskey, Fox News at 10.
All right, thanks, Tricia. And remember, just because a product is herbal or natural does not mean it's entirely safe. Some of our most powerful prescription drugs are made with herbs.
A potential AIDS vaccine is in the final stages of testing before FDA approval. It's being tested on gay men and heterosexual women whose partners are infected. All will continue to practice safe sex. 5,000 volunteers are being injected with either AIDS vax or a placebo. Researchers say the vaccine poses little risk because it is not a live strain of the disease. More than 25 potential vaccines have been tested, but none have made it this far. Zinc lozenges are a proven way to cut the length of a common cold, but a new study by researchers at Cleveland Clinic show they don't work for children. Why not? Well, maybe because of the dosage or a difference in the immune system of kids.
One of the hypotheses is that in adults, they may have a low level of zinc, and when you give them zinc supplementation, it brings their immune system back up to its normal level. Perhaps the children didn't need that extra zinc.
Some cough and cold remedies may ease a child's symptoms, but they won't make the cold go away any sooner. So as we all know, time and patience are often the best prescription.
So what does Anchorage, Alaska have in common with Syracuse, New York? They both have great tasting tap water. Anchorage and Syracuse ranked number 1 and 2 in a taste test at the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Now, the judges did not reveal which communities flunked the water test.
Cruise ships say they have a Titanic problem on their hands, all because of Hollywood.
King of the world!
Coming up, passengers are losing their grip on reality, trying to imitate scenes from the movie.
Plus, the cold, hard facts on an ice cream shortage right in the middle of a Northeast Ohio heat wave.
Well, it's coming, and plan on perspiring. We won't reach Texas or Florida levels, but we'll know it's summer.
Fox 8 weather is brought to you in part by Walmart. Always by Walmart. Always wait.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Martin. Coming up on Cleveland's #1 morning show, we'll have animals in the studio. Not alpacas, but cats. That's right. They're the Broadway kind, though, and they'll be singing. Be careful now. Neil Zerker taking us on a one-tank trip, as these animals are at this very moment. And we'll take you to a drive-in coffee shop, something new and unique. Please come along. You know what I always say, alpaca, I don't even know you. Begins at 5:30. We'll see you then.
Yeah, Andre had one this morning, Al, a very soft animal. Bill's here tonight. Does he sleep here, by the way?
Uh-huh.
Got a nice little room off the news studio. Okay, we're going to check some numbers now amid this heat wave. I think technically a heat wave, it's kind of a gentleman's agreement among the weather people. You need 3 days at 90 or better. Our highest this year has been 88, but I think we're going to see a 90. If not tomorrow, I got a hunch Thursday and Friday will qualify. And 75 degrees, another beautiful eventide here. Wow, 70 degrees, the dew point. The humidity 84%, that guy or the lady was traveling. And the wind is calm. We have a barometer at 30.04. We've had no rain today. We had a few showers in the area. Ashtabula County had right smack dab in the center of that county a pretty good shower at mid-afternoon. And it faded quickly. Unlimited ceiling, and the visibility is 10 miles. We have no ID on that couple there. We have a thunder cell here in Pennsylvania. That is part of the package that kind of flared. Well, anyway, we did have a few showers earlier, and south of Fort Wayne, a beginning shower. Here's the way the whole package went down, and eventually a line of thundery weather formed over the Allegheny Mountains, headed on to the east, and this has caused a severe thunderstorm watch to be put in effect, and actually a tornado watch now for parts of Minnesota, northwest Iowa, and South Dakota. We will not see that. 69 at Toledo, that's the water temperature. Cleveland and Erie at 70. Winds variable and waves very modest tonight, even tomorrow, 1 to 3. The risk of a thunder shower there, but it is so slight, I just probably shouldn't even have put it in. Onshore breeze tomorrow, 5 and 15. 78 degrees at Hopkins, couple of 71s there. Our high today was where we bargained, 83 degrees. Here's the airflow again, blocking out the advance of any important cool front, so don't plan on that. The temperature and humidity are both going up. 83, 71, and 80 and 59 the normals. 94, 41 our high and low for the date. Sunrise again, 555. Setting now. This will be the latest sunset of the year. It'll go for about 12 days at 9:05. Grass pollen 9. It's been found the ideal outdoor work combination, a temperature of 64 degrees, along with a humidity at 35%. I believe 35% is what they strive for in indoor humidity. The Society of Heating Engineers tell me in winter, that's hard to come by then inside. Clouds here, clouds there, thunder under those clouds. Here's the line, the demarcation between this 98 degree type heat at Memphis and Dallas, 96 in Tampa. Oh, bless these people down there. Boy, do they need rain. 93 in Miami. Out west, most of the forest fires are the result of dry thunderstorms just caused by lightning, and indeed that evidently has been the case in Florida. They have thunderstorms come over, but they produce lightning and not enough rain. Here we see a 95 even at Charleston in South Carolina. We are going to see gradually the south wind breeze at least begin to take over. The next chance we have that a thunder shower might even benefit a few of us would come with a bit of a sea breeze. The air comes in off the lake. As it hits the hot air over land, it begins to rise. That kind of convection can produce lake breeze or lakefront type thunder showers, but that's actually not a forecast. That's just a possibility. They come unnoticed, actually, or unforecasted. We see unforecasted. I don't think that's a word. But anyway, partly cloudy tonight. The isolated showery weather's out of here. 67 the low. And for the day Wednesday, the sun will shine. A little more humidity. It'll be a hazy sun. The high about 88, maybe 90. But I think we'll do it to either side of 90 at least Thursday and again on Friday. The chance of a thunder shower there, but it is quite slight, and even into the weekend, 88 to 90 Saturday. I think Sunday will qualify also as hot and humid, and the weather line is 8810880.
I think you've coined a new word. From Alice in Wonderland, remember the unbirth day? This is an unforecast.
No, unforecasted. There's no such word as forecasted. It's forecast.
Unforecast.
Yes, but it was a blunder, and I apologize to all the meteorologists out there. I won't do that again.
Okay.
All right, Dick. Good enough for me.
Well, it's not the Love Boat, but for a half dozen local couples, it was the next best thing. 6 couples from the Homestead Nursing Home out in Paynesville set sail on the Good Time 3 today for a honeymoon excursion. The couples renewed their marriage vows and had a small party. Some of them have been married for more than 50 years.
Love, and then he went in the service for 36 months. That helped. We've had 5 kids, and we've had a good life. It's been up and down. We've had arguments, and we work them out.
Well, that's wonderful. We're told a number of local companies pitched in to make this a very special day for those folks.
Well, Hollywood is mourning the death of a screen legend tonight. Details coming up next.
Plus, he's no longer home alone. Macaulay Culkin ties the knot, and we've got the details.
And she was smoking hot as Selena. Find out what Jennifer Lopez is doing for an encore.
Cuban's out in the cake. Point that thing at me. Hey, buddy.
It's okay. We're the good guy.
What are you doing? Tonight on the Magic Hour, catch Jazzy Jasmine Guide.
And all that jazz.
Multi-platinum R&B sensation Usher. And the world's youngest chef, the Magic Hour.
Tonight at 11:30 on Fox 8.
Next, Rosie, it's summer fun with out-of-sight stars George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez, plus co-star Bing Rames. Next time on Rosie.
Tomorrow afternoon at 4 on Fox 8.
The world lost a lovely leading lady. Those words tonight from Bob Hope after the death of a former co-star, Maureen O'Sullivan. The Irish-born actress first gained fame as Jane to Johnny Weissmuller's Tarzan in a series of MGM adventures. One of her final performances was with her daughter Mia Farrow in Hannah and Her Sisters. The cause of death is not known. Maureen O'Sullivan was 87.
You might remember him as the star of Home Alone, but tonight he's sharing his home with a brand new bride. 17-year-old Macaulay Culkin is now married to Broadway actress Rachel Miner. His publicist says Culkin got married in front of family and friends in Connecticut on Sunday. Culkin and Miner say it's the happiest day of their life. And they say they have no immediate plans to start a family because they both have very busy careers.
Disney's latest animated film is under fire tonight. The head of the Chinese Culture Institute in Boston says Mulan is not faithful to the Chinese legend that goes back 2,000 years. Doris Chu says the movie paints Mulan as afraid of being punished for posing as a man so she could fight. Chu says according to the legend, Mulan was fiercely proud, not afraid. The storyteller also argues that every girl in Disney movies looks like a Barbie doll and that Mulan should have been more muscular.
That's very interesting. Well, after playing Selena on the big screen, movie fans and critics have been singing the praises of one Jennifer Lopez.
And now she's playing doctor with George Clooney in Out of Sight.
Who wrote Playing Doctor?
I like that.
That's pretty good, huh? You did. Fox 8 News entertainment reporter David Moss talked with her.
That's very funny. And the Mulan thing, forget it. It's a good movie, and there's about 15 legends, so it doesn't really matter. There you go. She wrestled a snake and anaconda and shook her stuff as the salsa queen Selena. And now the sizzling Jennifer Lopez is out of sight, thanks to that smooth operator, George Clooney.
It's okay, we're the good guys.
What are you doing here?
You're just a girl. What do you do for a living? You pack a shotgun.
I'm a federal marshal and you're under arrest.
Out of Sight, an Elmore Leonard novel, ignites an unlikely romance between cops and robbers. Jennifer Lopez is smoking, and here's what it's like to meet her.
Que yo la llame en 5 minutos.
Are we speeding again?
¿Dónde
okay,
está?
We have speed. One more time. Let's try it again.
We have speed?
Yeah. We have speed.
So I see, you're working all the time, and you have to promote your films all the time. I see you travel with some of your friends all the time. Do you run out of time to have fun with your close friends, or how do you work that all out in the schedule?
Well, I'm lucky because my assistant happens to be one of my best friends, so she's forced. I pay her to hang out with me.
That's a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
You want to sit down and have cocktails with a woman who tried to shoot you.
It was an unusual experience.
Her character can't help herself. She always falls for the wrong guys.
Cowboy cops and robbers and, yeah.
That good kind of stuff. Now, when you were growing up, did you always go for the wrong kind of guy, or what kind of guys did you go for when you were growing up?
No, I didn't go for the wrong kind of guy, but I did go for the tough guys, but always with a heart of gold, always like the good guys inside, but they were like, could hold their own. That's what I was always attracted to.
I saw you on the street.
Where?
Outside the Dallas.
You went to see her?
To warn her about Chino.
So she did help you.
I don't think we should get into that.
You're right.
I saw your picture on the cover of Movie Line magazine, the sex issue, and, and there's a quote on the front that you made regarding your own body.
Right.
And after you actually saw it on the newsstand, was that a weird thing for you?
I hated it.
You hated it?
Yeah, because even if you read that one thing in the article, it sounds so much better in the context. I was saying, out of context, it sounds horrible.
Do you think people perceive you different than you really are? I mean, you're trying.
Yeah.
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 Give me the A and the B.
It's like you said. Here, you can't change who I am. You can't change what I'm saying around or anything. But there, they can, and they write what they want to write, and then you have to live with it.
And that's the way it goes. Jennifer Lopez and George Clooney are out of sight in Cleveland area theaters this Friday. It's an Elmore Leonard novel brought to the big screen, and I think if you'd like L.A. Confidential mixed a little bit with Get Shorty, it's got the right ingredients.
Yeah,
George
I love
Clooney
both
is
those.
great. And she doesn't look too bad.
Good-looking lady.
Action-filled.
Thank you, David. Well, there's a Titanic alert on cruise ships across the country.
I'm the king of the world!
Some passengers inspired by the King of the World scene in Titanic are trying to personally recreate that moment for a thrill. Earlier this month, a woman who tried it lost her grip and plunged into the ocean off Sweden. Now, many ships are beefing up their deckhand security and are roping off some of its areas because of all the Titanic copycats.
Well, I guess it seems romantic, but it's nuts when you think about
Very
it.
dangerous.
Very dangerous. Hey, it's a rocky road out there for those of us who love ice cream. Coming up, there's a major shortage of one of the key ingredients in ice cream, and we've got a live report.
And is it the cure to cancer? A very unusual treatment that's turning heads half a world away. Stay with us.
Closed captioning is brought to you by your local Chrysler and Plymouth dealers.